Welcome to another nostalgia review. Fear is something different, but also something that we're familiar with. It takes the premise of a first-person shooter letting you take on multiple enemies in gunfights while having an underlying horror aspect to it. Developed by Monolith Productions and produced by Warner Brothers and Interactive Entertainment, F.E.A.R came out on October 17, 2005. F.E.A.R lets you be your own hero in a tense game that, well, unless you didn't see this scary cover art, yeah, that art, right there, you would think it's a normal FPS style game. Once you start the beginning mission, you can definitely tell something is amiss with this horror FPS. F.E.A.R is a linear story which focuses on the aspect of you being a part of the First Encounter Assault Recon Team, a special unit that takes care of those unusual missions you never hear about. Without spoiling too much of the story, which is always a sticky subject discussing the story, Paxton Fettel, a military commander, goes insane, takes over a secret army of clone soldiers that are telepathically linked to him in an undistinguishable city. Paxton and his clones rampage. As you play the game, you see they are looking for something, but you're not sure yet what it is. You and the other F.E.A.R team members have to go in and find out. This is where you start exploring the world in this game. The story itself is something you discover throughout the game. I know. That's how most games work. Though F.E.A.R has some hidden gems you may miss when exploring the environment. As you'll be in office buildings, you'll find random phones with messages that give you further background. So make sure you check all devices as you find out some classified information to help you with a new boss or maybe a new enemy type lurking around the corner. Which is what makes F.E.A.R a great game, is those lurking baddies that may jump out at you. As this is a FPS gameplay style, it draws you into the game, only to find a creepy kid staring at you at the top of a ladder, or a jump scare as someone walks in front of you only to disappear in a pile of ash. For its time, the graphics of F.E.A.R are really well done. I recently played this and I still think it could live up to modern games with the feel of the environment, further bringing you in with the sounds around you and the bullets as they speed past your head. What I enjoy about F.E.A.R is that sometimes they work with the absence of light, almost as well as a fully lit up area. Sure, you have a flashlight, and yes, it will run out at those peak moments where you hurriedly try to get it back up before you're left too long in the dark. Add in those creepy sounds, the moving music, and the voice chatter from the enemies as they search for you, and you have a great game. This alone helps to hone those senses while you play. Definitely builds up the fear with you being so immersed. Get it? Okay, moving on. Sadly, since a lot of where you will be in this game is offices or similar locations, it can begin to feel repetitive after some time in the game. Seeing the same deserted office complex or deserted industrial area can only be unique so many times before you feel like you've been here before. Along with the general story and environment, you have horror elements that play into the game as well that affect your surroundings. F.E.A.R draws its horror ingredients from a few special spices, drawing heavily from Japanese horror movies like The Ring, bringing out split-second appearances, random items falling off shelves, or a ghostly presence when you turn around when you least expect it. What F.E.A.R does that makes itself unique, even though it uses many ideas from movies you may have already seen, is to incorporate all of that inside the game itself, which makes an unoriginal idea turn into something incredibly effective. I found myself fighting through swaths of enemies and have really no jump scare come out, only to turn a corner and seemingly normal corridor to find the ring girl calling out to me. I definitely give the developers props for drawing out those moments of horror so that each one is more impactful than the last. This also helps to ease you, making you think there may not be something, then bam, a scary moment. Almost like someone is watching you figure out the story while you play. Enough to keep you on your toes, but also enough to keep you on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next intense moment to happen. I saved the best for last. Yep, gameplay is next. While the story is engaging, and the environment is what keeps you intrigued, gameplay is what really makes or breaks a game. You're a special agent for the F.E.A.R squad, so you got some pretty awesome skills. Add in those creepy, tense moments while you are blasting your way through enemies, and you really end up feeling like an elite soldier. You have your usual stock of weapons, a pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, and so on. It's later on in the game you start making the game really enjoyable, like the gun that shoots stakes so you can literally stake an enemy to a wall if you want. a gun that will shoot hot bolts of fire that will melt your enemies. Thankfully, the game doesn't let you go full Rambo and limits the amount of weapons you can hold to 3 at a time. While the stake gun, I know, it has a name, but it's stake gun to me, dang it. It shoots powerful stakes strong enough to pin enemies. It also doesn't have a lot of ammo, so it ends up being very tempting to go decked out with all these super strong weapons. But due to their limited ammo for the special weapons, it's best to have a few regular weapons like, say, an assault rifle or a pistol just in case. Along with your firepower, you get time manipulation. Bullet time is what it's normally called, similar to Matrix or Max Payne, which first incorporated a slow-down motion action style like the Matrix. Since this game has come out, you'll probably be more than aware of the bullet time slow motion styling. However, when this game first came out, it was a step into something new. With this ability, it helps you to get out of precarious situations you may find yourself in. Maybe you need to quickly reload and run behind cover, but the cover is too far away. Go into that bullet time mode and slide your way to cover before those clones know what happened. In addition to your elite power, you'll be dealing with some pretty tough AI opponents, as each time you may play a mission, the AI will move to attack you, taking different paths or group up at certain points. There were times I was playing and would be flanking the enemy, only to be flanked by that enemy. The clones move from cover to cover, communicate to each other over the radios which you hear, and will even see your flashlight if you have it on. In addition to those tactics, they will steadily start having the same weapons you have and will end up doing more damage to you. To fight them, you'll have to come up with your own tactics. Use some cover, and turn off that dang flashlight. Yes, I know, it's a scary game, but you just gotta. But don't fret too much, as you'll have up to 10 health kits you can store, and have additional armor to help defend you against those clones and their arsenal. In a good way, F.E.A.R gives you checkpoints throughout the game so that if you die, and you will, you won't be set too far back that it feels like taking forever to get to a certain point. I'll touch on the game that other than the fun single player portion, which can take 10 hours, they did incorporate a multiplayer option. Sadly, there isn't much in the way of playing this anymore, as this is an older game. It had some decent maps, but had some issues with connection with other players, with multiple options for deathmatch, elimination, and of course, the classic capture the flag. Though there was a unique to F.E.A.R option mode that allowed you to control the slow-mo by possessing a booster, but had plenty of help being highlighted on everyone's heads-up display. F.E.A.R is a great game if you want an immersive first-person horror experience that is unique to the horror genre, meaning it focuses more on the fighting while dabbling in that fear you'll experience. However, the repetitive sights, the old multiplayer options definitely leave more to be desired. Really, what this game has going for it is the atmosphere in which you keep playing in. Those jump scares, and the feeling like you might be Rambo taking down those clones. I give F.E.A.R an 8.5 out of 10. If you're wanting an old but fun game to play with great graphics, sound, and horror, then I recommend picking it up. I hope you enjoyed my F.E.A.R review. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and a comment below on what you liked about this video, or if you have any other games you'd like me to check out. If you'd like to help support the channel, make sure to click subscribe. This is the Still Grizzly, wishing you luck with all your future games.